The night was unusually clear over Cambridge, England, where the stars seemed to twinkle with a knowing wink. Among them, a silent, sleek spacecraft maneuvered its way through the Earth's atmosphere, with precision only advanced alien technology could afford. The ship, resembling a shimmering drop of water, landed discreetly in the botanical gardens, nestled away from prying eyes. Professor Zorax, the ship's sole occupant, disembarked with an air of curiosity. His appearance was cleverly adjusted to blend in with humans, a holographic disguise projecting the image of a tall, scholarly gentleman with keen eyes behind round spectacles. Zorax was a celebrated linguist from Xyloth, a planet known for its scholarly pursuits, especially in languages. His mission on Earth was clear: to explore and study the rich diversity of human languages, potentially linking them to the forgotten tongues of the galaxy. Cambridge University, with its ancient colleges and reputation for academic excellence, was the perfect place for Zorax to begin. Under the guise of Dr. Zachary Orris, a visiting professor in theoretical linguistics, he was scheduled to lecture and conduct research. His real interest lay in discovering if Earth's languages carried traces of the ancient universal language of his studies, thought to connect all intelligent life forms in the cosmos. On his first day, Zorax walked the cobbled streets to the university, absorbing the sights and sounds of human life. He found humans fascinatingly complex and unpredictable, a stark contrast to the more calculated behavior of his own species. As he entered the grand lecture hall, a mix of nervous excitement and scholarly demeanor, students of all backgrounds filled the room, eager to learn from the reputed expert. His introductory lecture was on the evolution of linguistic structures across known space, a topic he believed safe and distant enough from his secret knowledge. However, as he spoke, his passion for the subject took over, and he delved deeper into theoretical concepts of language as a bridge between different realms of existence. It was during this moment of academic fervor that Zorax, caught up in the excitement of shared knowledge, slipped. He articulated a phrase in the ancient language, a sound so complex and harmonious that it momentarily filled the room with a palpable energy. The students, puzzled, dismissed it as a quirk of the professor's presentation style, all except for one. Emma, a postgraduate student with a keen interest in cryptolinguistics, sat in the back of the lecture hall, her curiosity piqued. She recognized the pattern. It matched the structure of inscriptions she had studied from the underwater ruins discovered off the coast of Cornwall, inscriptions that had baffled linguists across the globe. As the lecture ended and the students began to disperse, Emma approached Zorax, her eyes bright with questions and theories. Zorax, realizing his mistake, felt a surge of anxiety. Had he revealed too much? Yet there was also a spark of excitement at the possibility of what might come from this unexpected encounter. "Professor Orris," Emma started with a respectful nod, "may I have a moment of your time? Your lecture was fascinating, especially the part about the theoretical language structures. It sounded almost familiar." Zorax adjusted his glasses, his disguise flickering for a fraction of a second as he composed himself to face Emma. This was the beginning of something unforeseen, and possibly something monumental. In a quiet corner of the university's sprawling library, Emma and Professor Zorax sat across from each other at an ancient oak table, scattered with texts on linguistics, cryptography, and ancient civilizations. The afternoon sun filtered through stained glass windows, casting colorful patterns across the volumes that surrounded them. Emma, with a mixture of excitement and nervousness, opened her laptop and presented images of the mysterious inscriptions found in the underwater ruins. "These inscriptions," she began, "have been dated back over 5,000 years, predating any known civilization on Earth capable of such complex language forms. No one has been able to decode them yet." Zorax peered at the screen, his heart racing as he recognized the symbols. They were indeed variants of the ancient universal language he had studied for decades, his secret mission's focus. He realized that the discovery was a critical link, potentially revealing Earth's ancient connections to the cosmic community. But revealing too much could jeopardize his mission and safety. He needed to tread carefully. "Fascinating," Zorax commented, maintaining his composure. These patterns are similar to theoretical constructs in linguistic models I've studied. Perhaps together we could attempt to decode some of these symbols." Emma nodded eagerly. "I'd like that very much, Professor. I feel there's a key here that could unlock new understanding about our past." Over the following weeks, Zorax and Emma met regularly. Zorax introduced Emma to basic principles of the ancient language under the guise of theoretical linguistic exercises. Each session, he was amazed at how quickly she grasped the complex structures and concepts. It was almost as if she was naturally attuned to it, a trait Zorax found both incredible and alarming. During one of their sessions, Emma successfully decoded a phrase from the ruins. The translation was stunning. "When the stars align, the bearers of this knowledge will awaken." The implications of such a phrase were profound, hinting at a predetermined time linked to astronomical events, and a deeper, intrinsic knowledge buried within humanity itself. The breakthrough was a significant moment for both. For Emma, it was academic validation and the thrill of discovery. For Zorax, it was a realization that humans might be far more connected to the cosmic tapestry than his people had presumed. Humanity was not just another species to study. They were part of the ancient lineage of the galaxy's communicators. Their work did not go unnoticed. The dean of the university, intrigued by Emma's sudden progress in her postgraduate research, suggested they present their findings at the upcoming International Linguistics Conference. It was an opportunity to share their discovery with the world, but also a risk of exposing the ancient language to those who might not understand or respect its power. As the conference approached, Zorax felt a mix of pride and concern. He had grown to respect and care about Emma's fierce intelligence and earnest nature. Now, he faced a dilemma of how much more to reveal to her about his true origins and purpose. The decision weighed heavily on him as they prepared their presentation, unaware that their work had already started to attract attention beyond the academic community, eyes watching from the shadows, with intentions unknown. The International Linguistics Conference was held in a grand auditorium in Berlin, bustling with scholars, researchers, and enthusiasts from around the globe. Emma and Professor Zorax, now partners in an extraordinary scholarly venture, prepared to unveil their breakthrough on the ancient inscriptions. Their presentation promised to be a highlight of the conference, drawing a crowd eager for new insights into the origins of language. Backstage, Emma reviewed her notes one last time, the gravity of the moment settling upon her shoulders. Zorax, observing her, felt an unfamiliar tug of concern. He knew that revealing too much could draw unwanted scrutiny, not just from academic circles but from other entities that monitored such findings for their implications on power and control. "Emma," Zorax began, his voice low, "I must advise caution in how we present our findings. The implications of this language are profound, stretching beyond academic interest." Emma looked up, her eyes reflecting a mixture of excitement and resolve. "I understand, Professor. We'll stick to the technical aspects and implications for historical linguistics. We won't delve too deeply into its more unique properties." Their turn came, and they walked onto the stage to a warm reception. Emma started the presentation, explaining the discovery of the inscriptions and their initial indecipherability. She then passed the discussion to Zorax, who introduced the theoretical framework they had applied in their decoding efforts. As Zorax spoke, he carefully navigated the intricacies of the ancient language, emphasizing its potential to redefine historical timelines and cultural connections between ancient civilizations on Earth. He avoided any mention of its ability to influence matter or the visions of cosmic events that Emma had begun to experience as she delved deeper into the language. The audience was captivated, peppering them with questions that ranged from technical aspects of their decoding process to the possible implications of their findings on understanding the development of early human societies. The reaction was overwhelmingly positive, with their peers appreciating the depth and novelty of their work. After the presentation, as the crowd dispersed, a small group of individuals approached Emma and Zorax. They introduced themselves as members of an obscure but well-funded foundation dedicated to the study of ancient cultures and languages. Their leader, a charismatic woman named Dr. Ilara Miles, expressed a particular interest in their work. "We are intrigued by your presentation," Dr. Miles said, her eyes sharp and assessing. "Would you be interested in collaborating with us? We have resources that could significantly advance your research." Zorax was wary. He sensed that Dr. Miles and her foundation might have more than just an academic interest in the ancient language. He politely declined, stating they were pursuing independent funding and wanted to keep their research within academic circles for the time being. Emma, curious but trusting Zorax's judgment, agreed with the decision. As they left the conference that evening, she felt a mix of triumph and unease. Her academic curiosity was now tinged with a sense of deeper responsibility. That night, as Emma slept, she dreamt of stars aligning in the sky and voices whispering in the ancient language. Each word resonated with a profound energy, and she woke with a startling realization. The language was not just a tool for communication, it was a key to understanding the fundamental structures of the universe. The next morning, she met Zorax at a small cafe. Over coffee, she shared her experiences and visions. Zorax listened intently, his concern deepening. It was becoming clear that Emma was not just learning the language, she was being transformed by it. This connection was no longer just academic, it was cosmic, and it was time for him to reveal more about his true purpose on Earth. In the quiet ambiance of the quaint cafe, Zorax and Emma sat secluded in a corner, with steam from their coffees curling into the air. Zorax had always known this moment might come, but it felt all the more daunting now that it had. He needed to share truths that might alter everything between them. "Emma," Zorax began, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant, "there's more to the language and to my being here than you know. What I am about to share must stay between us for now." Emma, sensing the gravity of the conversation, nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. Zorax continued, "I am not from this world. I come from Xyloth, a planet where studying ancient languages is not just academic. It's foundational to our way of life. The language you are learning is known in the cosmos as the primordial tongue. It's believed to be one of the first languages, capable of shaping reality itself." Emma absorbed his words, her initial shock giving way to a rush of questions. "Is that why I've been having these visions? Why I feel like the language speaks to me on a different level?" "Yes," Zorax confirmed. "The primordial tongue is more than sound and syntax. It resonates with the fabric of the universe. You are particularly receptive to it, which is both rare and remarkable. This is why I must ask for your discretion. Such knowledge in the wrong hands could lead to dire consequences." Emma understood the weight of her professor's words. She felt honored yet burdened by the trust he placed in her. "What should we do then?" she asked, her resolve firming. "We have this knowledge. What's the right way to use it?" Zorax pondered her question. "We continue our work, but with caution. Our goal should be to understand the language's full potential before deciding how to share it more broadly, and we need to be aware of those who might seek to exploit it." Their conversation was a turning point. With new understanding and purpose, they decided to delve deeper into the study of the primordial tongue, documenting its effects and Emma's experiences in a secure manner. Their breakthroughs didn't stop at linguistic applications. As Emma became more adept, she discovered that certain phrases could influence physical objects, altering their state with just a word. Zorax documented these phenomena, astounded by Emma's natural affinity for the language. Word of their continued successes, however, began to spread beyond their controlled disclosures. One evening, after a particularly revealing experimental session, they found their lab broken into. Notes were scattered, and some of their research had been stolen. It was clear that their work had attracted the attention of powerful entities. In the wake of the break-in, they received a covert message from Dr. Ilara Miles, the charismatic leader of the foundation they had encountered at the conference. She offered them protection and resources to continue their research safely. Suspicious, yet cornered, they decided to meet with her to discuss her motives and the nature of her foundation's interest in the ancient language. As they prepared for this uncertain meeting, Emma and Zorax reinforced their resolve to protect their discoveries. The significance of their research was clearer than ever. Not just a scholarly pursuit, but a pivotal force with the potential to reshape the understanding of human history and its place in the cosmos. The implications were enormous, and they needed to navigate the looming challenges with wisdom and discretion. In a nondescript, secure facility, located on the outskirts of Geneva, Switzerland, Emma and Professor Zorax met with Dr. Ilara Miles and her team from the Secretive Foundation. The building was modern, almost stark in its minimalism and heavily guarded, which did nothing to ease the tension that Emma and Zorax felt as they were led into a high-tech conference room. Dr. Miles greeted them with a calm, measured smile. "Professor, Miss Emma, thank you for agreeing to meet with us. I assure you, our interests in your work are purely academic and in the spirit of safeguarding humanity's heritage." Zorax, ever cautious, responded diplomatically, "Dr. Miles, while we appreciate your interest, we need to understand exactly how your foundation intends to use the knowledge of the primordial tongue." Dr. Miles nodded, her expression serious. "Of course. Our foundation has long been involved in the preservation and study of ancient cultures and languages. However, we are particularly interested in how such profound knowledge can be protected and utilized responsibly, especially in unstable times." Emma, not fully convinced, added, "And what do you define as responsible utilization? Our recent experiences have shown us that even the smallest revelation can attract dangerous attention." Dr. Miles leaned forward, her eyes intent. "That is exactly why we need to work together. We have the resources to protect such knowledge and ensure that it is not misused. We propose a partnership where your research can continue under our protection, with the necessary safeguards to prevent any misuse." Despite the appealing offer, Emma and Zorax requested time to consider. As they left the facility, the air between them was thick with unspoken worries about entangling their destiny with a foundation that might have hidden agendas. Back in Cambridge, their concerns only deepened when they discovered that their academic advisor had been approached by government agents inquiring about their research. It became clear that the knowledge of the primordial tongue was now coveted by multiple powerful entities, each with their own intentions. Determined to maintain their independence and protect the sanctity of their work, Emma and Zorax decided to go off the grid. They contacted a network of trusted academics and cryptologists, forming a clandestine group dedicated to studying the primordial tongue, away from prying eyes and potential exploitation. Their new base of operations became a secluded old library in Scotland, filled with ancient texts and forgotten knowledge. Here, under the radar, they continued their research, decoding more of the language and exploring its applications. Emma's mastery of the language grew, and with it, her ability to manipulate physical reality in ways that were both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The more they uncovered, the more they realized the need for a broader strategy to protect their findings. It wasn't just about keeping their research safe. It was about ensuring that this powerful knowledge did not fall into the wrong hands and potentially destabilize the world. As they delved deeper into their studies, they began to devise a plan not only to continue their work, but to form a resistance against those who would use the primordial tongue for control and power. This resistance would require building alliances, securing safe havens for their work, and perhaps most dauntingly, staying one step ahead of the increasingly aggressive pursuits of both governmental and private entities. The stakes were high, and the path they chose next would determine not just their fates, but potentially the fate of the world. In the shadowed shelves and dusty corridors of the old Scottish library, Emma and Professor Zorax, alongside a growing team of linguists, historians, and cryptographers, established the foundation of their resistance movement. This eclectic group, driven by a shared mission to protect and ethically explore the primordial tongue, was bound by secrecy and a common belief in the transcendent power of knowledge. To enhance their security, Zorax introduced cryptographic techniques from Xyloth that encrypted their communications beyond any existing human technology. The team also developed sophisticated counter-surveillance measures, making their operations virtually invisible to external monitoring. Emma, with her deepening understanding of the language, contributed by creating linguistic shields, phrases that, when spoken, could obscure and protect their locations. As they solidified their defenses, they also expanded their outreach. Using secure anonymous networks, they contacted other scholars and experts around the world who had encountered or studied similar phenomena. This network, which they called the Custodians, grew into a global collective dedicated to preserving the integrity and benevolence of ancient cosmic knowledge. Meanwhile, the pressure from external forces intensified. Reports of mysterious break-ins and cyber attacks increased, targeting institutions known for their advanced linguistic research. It was clear that various entities, governmental and otherwise, were desperate to harness the power of the primordial tongue for strategic advantages. The turning point came when a close associate of Emma was detained by government agents, coerced into revealing information about their activities. The news of the detention sent ripples of fear through the Custodians, but it also steeled their resolve. Emma and Zorax realized they needed to move from passive defense to active countermeasures. They planned a series of covert operations to retrieve and secure ancient manuscripts and artifacts related to the primordial tongue from various locations around the world. These operations were risky, involving intricate planning and the use of the language to manipulate physical realities, creating illusions to mislead, opening locks without keys, and even bending light to become nearly invisible. Each successful operation added to their repository of knowledge and artifacts, which were hidden in various secret locations around the globe, safeguarded by linguistic locks that only Emma and a select few could open. These sites became sanctuaries, not only for their treasures, but also for those who were pursued by aggressive agencies. As their efforts became more daring, the profile of the Custodians rose, attracting interest from unexpected quarters. A mysterious benefactor, known only as the Archivist, reached out with an offer to help. Skeptical yet intrigued, Emma and Zorax agreed to a meeting. The Archivist revealed himself to be a former high-ranking official from a shadowy international consortium, disillusioned by his peers' intentions to exploit the language. He provided Emma and Zorax with critical intelligence about the activities of various global powers and their efforts to crack the secrets of the primordial tongue. Armed with this new information, the Custodians were able to avoid several traps and ambushes, enhancing their mystique and legend among the underground world of ancient linguistics. As their legend grew, so did the boldness of their mission. The Custodians began to subtly influence academic and governmental discourse, promoting a philosophy of knowledge preservation and ethical scientific exploration, hoping to shift the global narrative towards a more responsible handling of powerful knowledge. The battle for control of the primordial tongue was not just in the shadows. It was also a fight for the hearts and minds of the global community. Emma, Zorax, and their allies stood ready to defend the ancient language, armed with words that could literally change the world. They were no longer just scholars. They were guardians of a legacy that spanned the cosmos. The activities of the Custodians had begun to weave a new tapestry in the academic and geopolitical landscape. From the secluded Scottish library, Emma and Professor Zorax orchestrated a series of educational symposiums and covert seminars, distributed digitally to avoid detection. These seminars educated scholars and selected policymakers about the ethical implications and responsibilities of wielding knowledge as potent as the primordial tongue. As more academics and officials became enlightened to the true nature and potential of the ancient language, the global discourse gradually shifted. The fear of misuse remained, but there was a growing advocacy for safeguarding such powerful knowledge through international cooperation and open, regulated dialogue. Emma, whose mastery of the primordial tongue had grown exponentially, began to experience profound changes. Her ability to interact with the fabric of reality deepened, and she found herself able to not only manipulate physical elements, but also to instill a deeper understanding and peace in the minds of those she spoke with. This ability was not lost on the Custodians, who saw it as a means to promote harmony and understanding across contentious divides. Zorax, amazed by Emma's evolution, documented every nuance of her abilities, ensuring that the knowledge would not be lost. Under his guidance, the custodians developed a protocol for teaching elements of the primordial tongue to others, focusing on healing and preservation rather than control or destruction. Their strategy included creating zones of enlightenment around the world, safe spaces where the language was taught to heal landscapes, mend societal fractures, and reverse environmental degradation. These zones became beacons of hope, demonstrating the benefits of the ancient language's proper use. As news of these zones spread, public support grew, tipping the balance against those who sought to exploit the language for power. Governmental bodies, initially skeptical and fearful, began to witness the positive transformations achieved in the zones of enlightenment. High-level negotiations with the custodians led to the establishment of a new global oversight body, the United Linguistic and Ethical Standards Organization, ULISO. With Zorax as one of its key advisors, ULISO worked to integrate ethical guidelines for studying and using the primordial tongue across nations. However, not everyone was content with this new world order. A consortium of rogue states and private entities, seeing their control waning, banded together to undermine the custodians' efforts. This opposition culminated in a daring global strike to seize control of the zones of enlightenment. The custodians, prepared for such an eventuality, activated a series of linguistic defenses that had been embedded in each zone. These defenses, created through the primordial tongue, caused the rogue agents to become disoriented and peaceful, their aggressive intentions dissolving into confusion and awe as they experienced the true potential of the language firsthand. The failed strike became a turning point, widely publicized and debated. The world watched as former aggressors emerged from the zones changed, speaking about their experiences of profound peace and understanding. This public transformation bolstered the custodian's standing and accelerated the global movement towards adopting ULISO's guidelines. The Enlightenment, as this period came to be known, marked a renaissance of new technologies, social systems, and philosophies based on unity and environmental sustainability. Human societies began to transform, aligning closer with cosmic principles that Zorax had introduced, steering Earth away from its previously self-destructive path. As the world embraced this new dawn, Emma and Zorax, once just teacher and student, had become leaders of a movement that bridged the stars and Earth, guiding humanity into a future where knowledge and power were wielded with wisdom and compassion. The legacy of the primordial tongue was no longer a secret held by a few, but a shared heritage that illuminated the potential of humanity across the galaxy. The Enlightenment ushered in profound shifts, not just on Earth, but in the way humanity perceived and interacted with the cosmos. Under the guidance of Emma and Professor Zorax, the once clandestine movement of the custodians transformed into a public emblem of unity and cosmic stewardship. The successful defense against the global strike catalyzed a worldwide commitment to uphold the principles taught by the primordial tongue. As the final session of the United Linguistic and Ethical Standards Organization, ULISO, convened, leaders from across the world, along with representatives from various interstellar communities that Zorax had discreetly contacted, gathered to ratify the Cosmic Accord. This historic treaty established Earth as a recognized and responsible member of the galactic community, committed to using the primordial tongue for peace and prosperity. Emma, who had evolved into a figure of almost sage-like stature, addressed the assembly. Today marks not just a new chapter for Earth, but a new era for all beings connected by the threads of the cosmos. We step into this future not as rulers over nature or each other, but as custodians of the light of knowledge that has been passed down to us. The treaty included protocols for the ethical dissemination of the primordial tongue, ensuring that its teachings were used to further universal understanding and cooperation. Special zones were designated on Earth and in various parts of the galaxy, where beings of different origins could learn from each other, fostering a deeper integration of Earth into the galactic fold. In the wake of the treaty, technological and philosophical advancements flourished. Technologies that had once seemed like science fiction, such as instant matter reconfiguration and quantum resonance communication, became realities guided by the ethical frameworks established by Ulezo. These technologies healed the planet, reversing centuries of environmental damage and establishing a sustainable relationship with Earth's ecosystems. Zorax, now widely respected on Earth and beyond as a bridge between worlds, continued to teach and guide. His role as an ambassador was not just diplomatic, but deeply educational, as he helped to integrate human perspectives with those of other galactic civilizations. Emma dedicated herself to expanding the zones of enlightenment, traveling between Earth and other worlds. Her ability to use the primordial tongue had grown to such an extent that she could now share visions of potential futures, helping societies envision and choose paths of peace and growth. The story of humanity's integration into the galactic community became a beacon across the universe. Planets struggling with their own conflicts looked to Earth as a testament to what could be achieved when knowledge and power were wielded with wisdom. As peace and understanding prevailed, Earth's cultures celebrated their newfound place in the cosmos with festivals that combined human traditions with alien customs, creating vibrant new art, music, and cuisine. These celebrations were not just joyous expressions of Earth's diverse heritage, but also welcoming gestures to the universe. In a quiet moment, away from the celebrations, Emma and Zorax stood looking up at the stars from the very garden where Zorax's ship had first landed. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first arrived?" Emma asked. Zorax smiled, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "I hoped, but I did not know. It is one thing to dream of change. It is another to see it blossom before your eyes. But this," he gestured to the sky and then to the vibrant celebration of life around them, "this is beyond even what I dreamed. It is a new dawn indeed, not just for Earth, but for all who share this cosmos." As they turned back to join the festivities, the air vibrant with laughter and music sung in 100 languages, both human and alien, it was clear that Earth had not just joined the galaxy. It had become a vital heart within it, pulsing with life, love, and the infinite possibilities of what could be achieved when beings unite under the banner of shared knowledge and mutual respect.